Man, I'm just doing my daily walking and getting some food or whatever. It's been like a week, so um, I'm just walking and talking. But yeah, it's a lot that I can say until I get there. So we got news on what is it? Spider-Man, Far From Home, which everybody is praising it, and I'm like, the anti-SJWs, they easy to please. I don't know how and why. You don't go celebrating when they just do something, do it good, one thing good, because the 10-15 things that they ruined, especially half of the mediums that we enjoyed, they destroyed half of the stuff that we liked. That's why we don't support it. I had a back and forth, literally almost a whole week back and forth with people in comment section. And it's not like I'm trying to engage with them, but my notifications pop up randomly to tell me how wrong I am, and I'm a bigot, and I'm an incel, and I'm this and I'm that, and I countered it like, dude, there's like 2-3 million incels all around the world. What are you talking about? Then I got called a virgin, and I'm like, okay, sure, whatever you say. There's like 200,000 virgins. I'm like, every time you sit there talking shit and saying all of this, I'm this and I'm that, I'm like, I'm not alone. I'm not like you guys when y'all y'all pretend like every time you talk about somebody that ain't like 100,000 or 100,000 ain't like 100,000 dudes is right there that's in the same position. Meaning your society is messed up if it's 100,000 people is the exact same way. But I'm like, I'm tired of going back and forth when my notification pop up. I'm like, it comes on at the right time, because I'll be like, oh, I'm doing something or something's going on. Other than that, I'm like, man, y'all annoying the hell out of me, man. It's the last time that I'm gonna comment on a Last of Us video, because y'all act like y'all was there since The Last of Us. Half of you wasn't there for The Last of Us. Y'all don't even know any details of The Last of Us, but y'all want to come in because they put this SJW agenda stuff in it. And guess what? Somebody tried to come back and forth telling me that The Last of Us Part 2 made $30 million. And I said, what? You gotta be kidding me, right? How did it make $30 million when the last everybody checked is only made $4 million? And that was when it came out. It stopped selling after everybody knew what happened to it. So it didn't even make 10 million. I think it didn't even make 15 million. And games are supposed to exceed their first year in year 2. Spider-Man, PS4 did good in year 2. God of War did good in year 2. What else? There's a couple games that did good in year 2. So why can't this game do good in year 2? Because it wasn't a good game. That's why it didn't sell in year 2. So everybody giving Far From Home praise, and they kind of doing a nan and a boo boo, we told you so, to the naysayers, because everybody was making a mistake. Everybody was making this excuse of, oh, it's the CV. Oh, it's the CV. That's the reason why people didn't want to go to the movies. Oh, that's the CV because everybody didn't want to go to the movies because the CV. Oh, the CV is because nobody wanted to go to the movies. And then you see everybody coming to the movies for Spider-Man. So it destroyed the narrative. Now, if we can do that on our side at high numbers, then we can actually shut this stuff down. Because on the opposite side, I want to know how many black men will go back to black women if they changed or they all said they was wrong. And I feel like a lot of people will actually go right back to them if they feel like they can get these women to change. And that kind of gave me the kind of insider of like the anti-SJW movement. I've been know they was full of crap. They was making as much money as they could from this anti-SJW stuff until everything turned around. You got even guys who are making their own comic books because they feel like they can compete. And I'm like, not really. I'm like, manga, people are cool with manga. A lot of people don't like the independent stuff. I mean, I see a lot of people putting the independent stuff out, and I'm like, I don't really care about it. I mean, remember Sean James, and when he tried to put his independent stuff out, and he started talking about the Japanese culture and talking about passport guys, and well, guess what? You don't see people talking about him yet. Even this boy Obsidian turned on him, and there's a lot of stuff, the similarities between the anti-SJW and a lot of people in the black manosphere, right? So I was casually watching Bernard Riley. Mind you, this is a week removed from Jay Black's situation. The Jay Black situation where he knocked off his ex-wife, his ex-girlfriend, and himself. And I hear this fool Bernard Riley talking about, you know, there's not guys going out here and going here and they don't got enough experience out here. And I'm like, are you niggas dumb? Didn't you just see a guy just say that he went after somebody? So you think that people are supposed to experience bad shit in order to get to the good? This dude barely survived that, and he was a 6-figure guy. He got fired. He got jumbled all over his And then the fact is, a lot of people miss the fact that one of his ex-girlfriend came up, and nobody tried to go to that article, and I might make a video about that one. Nobody actually went to that article where they talked to one of his girlfriends, I think in 2019. She never put no report on him. She said that the only thing about him that he never screamed at her, he never yelled at her, he never got physical, and he never went all crazy on her. But the fact is, she did say that he was kind of depressed and kind of suicidal. So it kind of weird. It basically dealing with these chicks war on him to the point where it broke him into who he was on his last days. And these guys are still trying to send you to the grind and the fire. So you either deal with these chicks and mess your mentality up where you gonna off yourself and might off them, or you gonna sit there and these clowns gonna come on here and keep telling you to go back to the fire. And I'm like, wow, this is the black manosphere. I mean, this is the same Bernard Riley and Obsidian who went to a damn so-called black manosphere meetup that was made for SYSBM. I mean, that's what that Theo, whatever that dude name is, he said he made it for passports of SYSBM. But you got these two dudes here talking about black relationships. So MOT was absolutely right about that shit. Like, why would you invite these dudes? And not only that, why the hell was Minister Knapp there talking about anything? Why did he come there? Why did AM1 went there anyway too? Like, I don't get it. You let people in here that was talking shit about passport guys? Like, did we forget about that shit? That he was calling people passport perverts? And I'm like, yo, that's the reason why. That is the exact reason why the Black Manosphere meetup was a complete failure, because you invited the same dudes in the space that send young men, even some older men, back into this fire bullshit where they gonna turn into a Jay Black. And it's like, man, like I said, man, I feel myself drifting away again from this space. Not even drifting away again. It's like a month away from like Dying Light 2 coming out, and Horizon Zero Dawn, or Horizon Forbidden West, and God of War, and a whole bunch of other games in the beginning of the year. And I'm kind of like looking like, should I take another couple month break from this? Because I only made videos because of coming back, giving my opinions. And that's about it. Like I said before, I'm starting to see a real pattern with like a Game Changer and some of the a lot of people don't want solutions. I seen that MOT viewership went down and he gives solutions to people. I seen that even Marco barely get any views. Marco, his videos do worse than mine. The funny thing how this space turned on Marco, it's a shame, dog. So Marco can actually prove that you don't have to be this player dude and getting all these women. And guess what? Marco shows his women. Anybody in this space who talk about these imaginary women, they don't show a goddamn thing. But they want to continue to keep talking about the manners to guys saying they don't have experience and all this other shit. But I'm like, I'm going to keep using the Jay Black situation. I'm like, oh, so if the guy turned into a Jay Black, then it's going to be your fault. So, and I'm like, I looked at Marco's videos and I'm like, yo, so I'm like, look at this. And I'm like, Marco barely get any views. So I'm like, why y'all was on his nuts? Y'all was on his nuts for the majority of times. But now y'all don't want to see a man getting a whole bunch of women. But y'all want to be on here backing guys like a Ramil Amir, who said he only spent 10% of his time with women. And then when he got exposed for kind of women that he do bang, the women he got is ugly as hell, and the women that Marco got looks better than him. Look better than Marco. So, I mean, not look better than Marco, my fault. The dog was barking. Marco's girls look better than his. But this is the same Ramil Amir who sold his channel to a female, but he said women are winning. Then you had Ty City, who's constantly, milking this shit and making videos of the Black Manosphere to talk down to the Black Manosphere and say he has the answers. And I'm like, half of this is all Jessica X fault for riling up fucking Mr. Fantastic, and then Mr. Fantastic, like a simp, he went on and started attacking people and started saying stuff that he can't take back. Oh, you guys gonna get with women. You guys, if you don't want women, you shouldn't be talking to none of them. You shouldn't do this and do that. And I'm like, here you go with his here you go with his bullshit again. And then guess what? Both of them disappeared. They shook up the manosphere and they disappeared. And I'm like, some kind of tells me that I think that Jessica X working for O'Shea, because she came into space and made everybody think that she was on the side. Everybody dropped the ball on her, man. I mean, I can call them out right now. Like, Zero let her get a pass, and I'm like, he's supposed to be Mr. Against Feminism, but he's sitting there going back and forth with her. Then you had, Aegon. I thought he knew better. And he's constantly going back and forth with her, taking his streams down. Because most of those streams make Jessica X look kind of kind of ragged and bad. Then, you know, she goes around talking shit, and then as soon as Ramil get a falling out with O'Shea, he goes and start talking about the space, the same space that he wanted support in. I'm like, this shit is a mess, man. This the only group of motherfucking dudes that allow this kind of shit to happen. The white manosphere got their problems, I know that. But the real people just bounced off and left. Somebody told me to look at Game Changers videos. And I'm like, Game Changers trying to convince everybody that, you know, Danica Michelle is the new Jessica X. But I'm like, you got a bad track record, buddy. I mean, you stick your dick in the neon eyes, and she tried to put a case on you. You went to bat for the light-skinned cocaine Kells of her old ass videos, or her old ass videos. You was friends with C Boogie, who tried to expose you, and literally was like, "Oh, I'm gonna start some shit with you with Super Sly and shit." I'm like, man, black people, man, yeah. Like I said, man, sometimes you gotta look at them from afar, and it's better than deal with them online than dealing with them in real life. Because these people can get you really killed, or these people can really actually hurt your reputation with something in the future. Because the way they move. I mean, you had Reg the bad guy bring Taz on after Taz talked about Reg. And I'm like, then you had AJ seeing Red. I thought he was cool, but he's on panels going back and forth with women. And after Reg told him to get out of his space, Reg bring him back on. I'm like, what is this? Y'all break up and come back together again? And that's the reason why nobody mess with Reg now. It's because every time he kicks people out, he can't keep them out because he know that his views will go down, so he need those people back on. He always try to replace old people. He try to replace new people with old people. But like I said before, man, that just brung that shit up with me for the anti-SJW movement, is because a lot of these guys are getting a lot of money off this. Oh yeah, these guys, these agendas and stuff. And I mind you, I watch the videos because they're funny to watch. But in a way, I kind of looking like it's one Spider-Man movie. I'm like, I gave praise to Black Widow. I mean, mind you, a few hours ago, I watched Black Widow. The first time I watched it, I skipped through it a lot because I wanted to see the funny parts. But now, I even watched Hawkeye. And I like Hawkeye, and there wasn't no SJ agenda in there. I watched Shang-Chi, and it wasn't really that bad. It wasn't that good, but it wasn't that bad. So I'm like, I'm not going to the movies to watch Spider-Man. I haven't went to the movies ever since 2011 Thor. So I'm not gonna break my record for a movie that they're not gonna have consistency. So I'm like, this is getting crazy, man. But that's all I wanted to say, because it's kind of crazy that how everybody's singing the praises of Spider-Man and acting like this gonna be some kind of new revelation where the SJW movie just gonna stop making crappy movies. They're gonna use the money that they got from Far From Home and put out 10 more crappy behind SJW movies. That's all they're gonna do. And then they're gonna keep repeating the pattern by putting like 5 bad movies out. And then they're gonna put one good movie out and they're gonna try to keep recycling that. Like I said, I'm gonna wait for the home release of Far From Home. Just like I did Black Panther. I didn't even watch Black Panther until 2 years later. Because it had so much hype to it, and I'm like, huh? Black Panther sucked. He was the weakest hero. He was one of the weakest heroes in the MCU. And everybody was singing their praise because, oh, I can see myself in Black Panther. It's like, dude, you ain't a king. You don't even know martial arts. So why you out here acting like you see yourself through this character? Let's see. Like I said before, man, it's getting incredibly stupid, and it's like a hamster wheel. And I start seeing a lot of people I'm watching less and less people by the day. I wanted to make a video about all the YouTube couples that broke up, but I kind of actually showed that in my last video. If you see my video, it says they use the same playbook. I got copyright claimed on some stupid behind the dude from Jersey Shore, the video that I used in Jersey Shore. I got copyright claim from that shit, and I think it was the music. So I had to literally wait like 3 hours for them to trim that and take it off. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, I really want, like you really, I'm not even monetized. So why are you sitting there why did you pause my video for this small behind 15, it was a 15-second clip of crusty behind music from Robbie D, the dude from Jersey Shore. Copyright my claim I joined. I'm like, man, I was trying to show how the chick Leanna is kind of cornballish. When she got mad because he had a daughter on her, but he got to be a stepdad to her kids. So yeah, man.